This is the Hustler Rip Rogers. Yeah, it's fucking me. Yeah, and listen to the fucking Hameen Media Group. That's Ben Hameen, Hameen Media Group from Rip Rogers. Go get him and go fuck yourself.
Yes. That's right, infidels. Time to kick off the 12 days of Christmas here in the Monday locker room. You might get choked out, you might tap out, and you might get booed out of the building. And we're going to break it all down here for the new generation. HMG 2025 coming to an end. Yo.
Another vicious heel down the cheat and he's proud. Hear the screams when allowed. The reading out his palms. Fucking book of songs when the dirty Saudis dropping bombs. Ain't police with batons, but he's pro-martial law. You speak infidel, catch a partial to your jaw, bowing down.
Ooh, too hot right there for my man Rated RCNY. What a unbelievable artist. So honored to have him as a friend and a loyal fan and bringing me out to the ring, man, and just writing songs for me, man. That was a great time in my career to be able to work with so many great hip hop artists between him and Frio and plenty of others, man. Another weird part of my adolescent dream kind of coming true. And we're here to share it, you guys. We'll see as the end of an era, the end of adolescence, the thing everybody's talking about probably for the next 3 weeks until you all forget about them. John Cena Saturday Night Main Event, but the main event's here with us today. It's Art of the B to the V. Good to see you, pal.
Hey, those dirty sods dropping bombs. You know, we've got, inside our little bubble world of professional wrestling. Yeah, we got a lot of talked about there, Ben, with and I want to take a little different approach when we do get to it, because everyone's kind of, they're kind of hung up on that finish and that. I want to talk about the show and the moment and going into that, the structure of it, and go back to some conversations you've had these last couple of weeks that I found very intriguing to how we saw things play out. But hey, we got, there's other things happening out there in the world. We had, I guess breaking was overnight this morning. I seen it when I woke up. Rob Reiner, him and his wife, found dead. Of the family,
unarrested.
Great history there with in Hollywood, but yeah, a very political activist to the left there. I've seen just a couple of things, some people trying to tie together. There's something here with Kirk or something like that. To me at this point, without really knowing so much, just another bad incident.
Yeah, they've arrested his son and he's being held on $4 million bail right now. So, I mean,
okay. Wow. Okay.
We've got and obviously not the same circumstances, Menendez brothers or OJ, but another Hollywood-esque, terrible slaying. It seems like this kind of happens every 10 to 20 years. You know what I mean? Whether it's husband, wife that becomes salacious. So, yeah, it's a terrible thing. And everyone wants to kind of be in the here and now with politics and put it on that or what have you. And who knows whatever the terrible tragedy it really is, man. I mean, an American artist. And I remember early on as my looking at Rob Reiner, because my dad looked very similar to him in the 70s, except bigger, more jacked version.
And, the king was an old meathead.
Yeah, he looked like, when before his hair was really gone. So, or before I was even born, or right when I was first born. And I remember watching All in the Family as a little kid, even though I didn't get most of it. It would just be, the jokes, but the meathead thing. And before my old man grew the beard, they had the same mustache. So it was always ingrained in me, Rob Reiner in the background of comedy. And then obviously everything that he produced that is Americana through the 80s and 90s is part of our history. But at the root of it all, this is, an absolute heartbreaking tragedy for a lot of people, man. And it's water cooler talk. And unfortunately, John Cena will be forgotten about in 3 weeks' time when some other crazy shit happens and
Well,
we're on to
we
the
have
next.
some, crazy happenings, as you said, some crazy shit happening. A shout out, from two of our great brothers here on the platform, the Hami Media Group. They've been making the rounds. They were working their tails off all weekend. Of course, I'm talking about our brothers from down under, Mr. Pierce Austin and Jimmy T. We saw the mass shooting down there in Australia around the Hanukkah event there.
Yeah, man, there's going to be a lot of weird amped up anti-Semitism, anti-Muslim rhetoric, and it's not just confined into a quarantine space for over there. Syria, there was a ISIS hit on some team as well. So there's going to be these weird skirmishes, and then even in the homeland with anti-Somali rhetoric and anti-Muslim rhetoric in Dearborn, Michigan, and that stuff, you're going to see flashpoints and trigger points for crazy shit to happen, and people who really take, America first as like their root value, you know what I mean? Like, people are capable of any crazy shit popping off right now. So it's tough to try and live in the American dream of Sunday football. And, when at any moment, like, what seemed like a normal life situation can turn into dystopian future with violent acts, you know what I mean? Or the fear of that. And just living in the fear of that is a win, to those forces that want to have a prison planet and every other fucking reason to do what they want to do. So it's a very tough and trying time, man, to try and operate with the facade of everything's all right and we're going to make it through this. But then every day it's another insane act of violence, in the name of whatever your religious belief is, whatever your conspiracy theory belief is,
whatever your bullshit agenda, whatever you want to hide behind.
And some of the reasons may be very justified, in a retaliatory Cold War weird. I mean, we're living in an open air assassination at any time, any place on anybody that doesn't align. Like, they've normalized it, you know what I mean? And then they'll make you celebrity. If you're good looking enough, you're Luigi Mangione, you're over because they want to bang you. And that shit that happened in the 80s too, with a lot of weird killers, you know what I mean, that were better looking dudes. So I don't know, man, everything goes in cycles. And this feels like, not just in a fashion and music sense that we're in this 80s, 90s nostalgia, but in the crazy sense of division of party lines, weird cultist behaviors, but this added globalist Mossad, CIA, whatever op that's constantly going on and at a very used to be Mission Impossible kind of fucking only on the movie screen, James Bond kind of way, happens every day, from blowing up narco drug trafficking boats to overthrowing governments to assassination of a fucking media figure that's running exposés of billions of dollars of tax fraud for open border that they snuck in an entire race, a country of Somalis, and put them in Section 8, and like they drained $8 billion off. Like, what are you like? How many times can you turn your head and go, "What the fuck?" It just wears you out by design, bro. It's every aspect of the system has a criminal aspect to it.
First, real quick, pop for that Ravens joint with the Dare font. I freaking love that.
Thank you. I appreciate
I love it with the Dare font. That is awesome. But yeah, I was having that conversation with Pierce this morning, and he's talking about how they do have strict gun laws down there, and this isn't normal for them, and how devastating and scary it is for that area, for that country. And I said, I kind of forget how that feels, Pierce, because it is so normalized to us in the States. Like, we've become almost, it doesn't mean that each isn't as tragic and as sad as heartbreaking, but we've almost become desensitized to it when we see something like that on the news.
Yeah, and
It's kind of like you're just saying there. It's like a normal run for us here in the States to see this kind of stuff now.
yeah, but when we look at when we have it done, you're not allowed to really. Nothing gets revisited. Like that's the other thing of like take this jagged little pill of conspiracy horseman style, but like you're not allowed to really look at Parkland. You're not allowed to really look at S Hook. You're really not allowed to look at Aurora Batman connection. You're not allowed to like ask questions about Vegas and none of the every one of those has a caveat, whether it's the Vegas sheriff and is now in Maui, S Hook dad who's smiling and comes on camera like David Hogue being exposed as not being a student there, and then where he's like, if you look at any of these things and just go, what is this? You're on your shadow banned on YouTube. You're done, dude. I lived it for fucking
I've
10
said you
years.
went right through it. How much content did you have, Strikes, and just removed for apps from years ago that they come get you on?
Yeah.
Wasn't the one just a propaganda of just you and your wrestling?
Yeah, it was just me. And I got struck for terrorist organization, hate crime, organized crime. Like, so what conversations on a show called The Locker Room are you really supposed to be able to have the deep dive in any of that? And like you said, you're conditioned to it, but it's not just conditioned to the violence or the fact that it can happen. You're conditioned to the fact that you know what's being told is not the real thing. And you just keep going, oh, what's my FanDuel parlay this weekend? It's
you are making this transition to NFL very, very difficult.
So, you know, like it's a tough place to be as a human being on the world stage, you know what I mean? And really, everybody thinks they're the main character, but we're really also unimportant in it all. And we let it get to us. And who knows, with like a Rob Reiner thing, it just feels like an emotional steam valve that like you get to transfer your negative energy into that and condemn and whatever, and get your political stuff in or your memorabilia, nostalgia of a earlier time when life was simpler. It's just like, what is true anymore? Like, what is the true human experience in all of this, you know? And it's just repeating. It's just on repeat on a 30, 40-year cycle.
The more and more you look at me, as you said there, the key is the true human experience. Does that exist? Are we in a matrix? Are we in a program?
Right now, I'm fine with it. I'm wearing my Ravens joint hat. I'm in a Monday Locker Room podcast talking about wrestling, global events that have always excited me. I got to live 20 years in wrestling and 10 in comedy. Like 12-year-old me would be pretty pumped about where the fuck we ended up, you know? So if it is a matrix and a programmed one, or you will things into existence in an ever creating consciousness, I'm down to fucking surf the wave. I've done what the fuck I want to do pretty much my whole life. And it's come with a lot of cost, but at the same time, the payoff's been pretty fucking good.
Well, let's do that transition as we do each and every Monday. One of my favorite parts of the week, getting to talk a little football. And we had some big games for week 15. A couple headlines, man, I want to get your takes on here. Let's start with it. You recently made a comeback. You went in here, you told that story. Man, great conversation, by the way, Friday Locker Room. I got that whole 30 minutes clipped out. You guys, I love the insight from both sides of the rail. You from, the locker room, in the ring, and
yeah, I had actually good thing you brought that up, because here's my addition/retraction. Heat on me. Even the old vet gets heat from the rookie talking about my man Bikes, Jeremy Bikes, right?
Yep.
And that he got his name because he rode, I said 20 miles, bro. It was 70 miles. Twice he did it, from Watertown to Syracuse shows on Route 81 on the highway. You know, it's a serious ride. So Bikes reached out, put it over how happy he was to hear his, match mentioned as spot of the night, show stealer. Absolutely everybody involved did a great job doing business there and played their part. But I got the mileage wrong, so I wanted to correct 70. Like, that's what I'm telling. And this is when he was just to be a referee. This is 10 years ago.
You
You
said no
know,
pay, just learning, putting the stripes on.
you could be on the side of the road fucking done from a 18-wheeler that never stopped. You know what I mean? Like that's how hardcore people want to live their dreams. And another 10-year overnight success. I even, was talking to Mike Skyros. He had retweeted a clip about how honored he was as Santana and the babyface promo afterwards, but it took him 11 years, never stopped, worked every territory from Buffalo to fucking Vermont, Maine, wherever you can, Canada. Got him across the border to work with Chris. And now he's in a spot where he's working with all top guys. You can't not be seen or get to the top of your game and make moments. And even if it's the moment for you, that picture, I've said it 100 times, with you with whatever star it is going to make you money for the rest of your life, man. Like, if you want to, for how long you want to live this and hustle in this, that is liquid gold if you know how to fucking move it the right way. Guys like Cody Deaner and dudes like that are masters at the fucking merch table, bro. Like, yeah, they get their money and they do what they do at the match, but they show up with their branded shit. They know they buy tens. They know the experience as a baby face is an opportunity to make fucking money. And I like to watch people win like that. And I like to pass that knowledge on to others so they can fucking hustle like that.
I want to chat through those names, Bikes and Star Wars. We're going to circle back around to them when we get to the Saturday night's main event conversation. But in the NFL, let's start with I'd say you had your comeback here. You were talking about how just going in, hitting a turnbuckle spot, getting the whole train, bumping out, man, how that felt. How about Gridiron Gramps, 44 years old, Philip Rivers, old man Rivers, after 5 years away, makes his return to the NFL. His first start as the Colts head up to Seattle. Unfortunately, they don't pick up the win, but you get to catch the highlights there of the old man.
I didn't see it at all. Like I was at the joint yesterday, so.
When you heard something like that though, that he's
I watched the
call,
Bills. That was it. Really.
Well, we're going to talk about Superman. He can't tug on that cape because he put it right back on. Yeah. But yeah, I thought it looked like Rivers, especially early on in that game. He was trying to find that stride again. He looked slow for the modern game. Looked like he was kind of throwing off that back foot, but they utilized him perfectly. They didn't ask him to do too much, and it kept them right in the game. But what were your thoughts when you heard, hey, man, this guy at his age, his time off, grandkids, is coming back to the NFL?
Yeah. You're a pro, bro. Like, if you're feeling good and you can suit up and you're game ready mentally and you know what's going on. And like they even did it when Mahomes went out with his knee, which was nasty. The guy they brought in,
ACL.
You saw Kelsey go, me and you, I'm going to hit the flat and do it, even though the end got botched, which felt like a work to me, to be honest with you, in that game. Like, if you got, dude, nobody in the NFL sucks.
No.
except for maybe the guy who fucking the Giants kicker who stuck his leg in the ground. Everybody else is money. Like, I don't care if you put a right tackle back there in quarterback. The guy's been around football his entire fucking life. If you got a Travis Kelce who's going to run out, be 6'8", fucking run 12 feet, turn, almost anybody can pull that. Oh, shit. Sorry, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Everything all right?
Yeah, weird. Everything went dark here for a minute. I just want to double check.
Oh. Yeah, we're still running here.
Okay, cool. Sorry. Yeah, I don't know what that was. Like, anybody in the NFL could do that. And this guy that they brought in did his best. And if you're going to put the old man in, dude, now everybody's talking about it. Like, do they really have a chance to make the playoffs with him?
Oh yeah, they're going. They're going to be going in. They'll slide into this thing. So that was the hope, and he's got a history with that franchise. He knows their system. He's familiar with the ownership. So a lot of people are like, why didn't you go get like a Cam Newton, something like that? Because this guy's familiar. And like you said, it's a good story here.
Yeah, dude, people are going to want to root for him. Like, NFL tells good stories, man, and if that can get them there, and like every guy at home is going to live vicariously through that with the I could do it. If he can do it, I can fucking do it. That'll be
every Uncle Rico's out in the backyard with the kids,
You got
that weekend, chucking the ball over the mountain.
Yeah. And people who aren't even into that team are now into it because of the human story of it, right? Like that's what it is. So good for them, man. I think that's a smart play marketing wise. Absolutely.
Hey, you did talk about there real quick. Patrick Mahomes, he goes down, torn ACL. The Chiefs officially eliminated from this year's playoff. A lot of people talking about, at wrestling, we're talking about the end of an era. Is this maybe the end of an era in the NFL, or is this just the beginning of another great comeback story next year for the Kansas City Chiefs?
I would say the Kansas City Chiefs should really focus on their franchise and move on and let.
That's a bold statement there.
But an ACL really let Mahomes heal up, and then Mahomes, to really prove it, comes to the New York Giants and becomes the quarterback that takes us to where we need to go.
I've been the NFL's magical. Now you're writing like a Hallmark story for you Giants.
Right. Like Mahomes has a tough first year, but then his boy comes over with him, and then we go and win the Super Bowl again under the Mahomes second regime, rebuilt leg.
Yeah, program that into the Matrix right now. That's the only way that's freaking happening.
As I say, if I'm writing the story of everything else that's happened to me, I'm putting that out. And I actually have said that before. Like, the only way the Giants program is ever going to really get a fire started is with, and I said Mahomes in the past, a quarterback that's a franchiser who's coming back on his second run after getting close someplace, like even a Dax or somebody like that. But I did say Patrick Mahomes, and who knows, maybe that could be it.
Well, you got in the city area, New Jersey, if you will. Your Giants and Jets have been eliminated, but up in your neck of the woods, what's the buzz like? Superman does it again. Josh Allen puts that team on his back. They're down 21-0, Ben. It looks like the Patriots are ready to take that division back over. You could have it for 6 years here. We're reclaiming it. We put you down once. We're going to beat you down again. But Superman not having it. The Bills come back and win that thing and still alive in the division.
Yeah, the massholes were pissed. Yeah, dude, it was a great game to watch, and I had it on at the shop. And I kind of had the feeling like even when they were down, that dude May scored the first 2 touchdowns. I don't know much about him, but I would have talked about this. The new quarterback is the Josh Allen model. And that's how that guy was running his offense too. So there is a style there that's being emulated of having a bigger running back, fullback, quarterback size guy who can run options and get you a first down time and time again, or even if you're just outside the red zone, get you a touchdown. Right. So there's plenty of that in the future of what's coming as the new style of Josh Allen emulated quarterback. Because I got to believe there are dudes in college that are absolutely doing the same thing. I don't follow college ball that much, but yeah, it was great.
You said you look at that model, so they're trying to form quarterbacks like that right now. So chat, there's some other big games. Denver looking real deal. The Rams looking real deal. Week 15 absolutely delivered in the NFL. Again, the NFL just continues to out pro wrestling. Great storylines, great characters as they get ready for the playoffs. A lot of teams eliminated. The state of Ohio now officially eliminated. The Bengals go down. We got a bunch. This
eliminated from the United States. We only got 49 states now. They got.
We'll take that. We're out of here. We're going to take our chili and run. We are out of here.
You're part of Canada now.
This is kind of a funny story because you guys are so known for it in Buffalo where it's a regular happening. So our cheap asses, here's to say we have the worst franchise, the worst ownership, arguably in all of sports with the Brown family. They're in sports terms like a small business. They don't have the conglomerates with the billions to fall back on. But so we had a snowstorm here our last couple of days. We had 7 to 10 inches, something like that. Usually in Buffalo, you guys show up with your shovels, right? Everybody just takes care of it themselves. Well, the Bengals are going to get fined because they didn't clear the stadium. They didn't even warn anybody. So all these fans show up for like a 23 degrees game. It's absolutely freezing. The season's on the line, and they've got 6 or 7 inches of snow in their seats, man. People were.
Yeah, well, what's funny that I see that as an opportunity, right? That we're the small guy, bring a
Well, it's
get
a
a
rallying
shovel,
cry to get people down there, get them excited. They did none of that. No
get
one
a
even knew. They
shovel
just show up.
sponsor, get a shovel sponsor, and fucking they show up, and it's a big thing beforehand, and show up 2 hours before, and you pay for the food to give everybody free hot dogs or whatever, and it's a father-son moment. We went and shoveled the stadium together. You know what I mean? Like the other part of that, I was talking to one of my employees, and he goes, "Oh, they're throwing snowballs." He goes, "They should be able to throw snowballs." I go, "Yeah, dude. In Buffalo, they had that plenty of times, and that's it too. Like if that was a thing, people should look forward to snow because they should encourage people to throw snowballs, no garbage or anything like that."
I
But
say,
can you
don't pull
imagine
the
that?
Philly where they were throwing ice balls with rocks in them at Santa Claus.
Well, I mean, welcome to Philly. But like that should be part of, I think, the fun of the game of living in a snow area. So when a team like Las Vegas or any out west or southern team shows up, they got to deal with the New York toxicity, and that includes getting hit with a snowball.
All right, we heard it here. Ben's he's advocating for the violence there. More violence at the stadium.
Yeah.
Take it into your own hands. But yeah, again, a big week from the NFL. Always enjoy talking with you, Ben. But yeah, what everybody's buzzing about, everybody in which to me, a little to me personally, I think there's a lot of overreactions to what we saw Saturday night. So before we jump to that, I just want to throw this out there. Tell me if I'm completely wrong on this thing. But I've seen what a lot of fans miss on this thing inside of professional wrestling, like on the indie scene, things like that. Sometimes we offer up special attraction events. They could be a tribute. They could be a fundraiser, a fair show, fun. I said fundraiser there, just a special attraction. It's not necessarily canon. That doesn't mean that you go out there and completely expose characters and storylines, but you're a little loose and easy on the reins. You're there for a one focal point. People are coming together for a celebration that's centered around professional wrestling.
Yeah, I've done 2 of them, reunion shows.
Right. You guys just had the reunion show there. A perfect example. And there's a lot of parallels I want to draw in this conversation about Saturday's main event, about what happened at 2CW and the conversations you've been having these last couple of weeks. So for the most part now, did fans go into this with a wrong viewpoint and over expectations of what they were going to be in store for with this final event of farewell? The last time is now with John Cena.
No, I don't think they over expected anything. And I think the only thing that didn't deliver was the finish. Like the match, they were with it. The match was so simple and so perfect of like, chop me down. I get back up, hit me with one more, get me in the corner, chop me. I sell down, get up, shoot me off, shoot reverse, shoulder block, shut me down with a clothesline, fucking clothesline me again, give me a body slam, just keep walking around. Gunther wasn't blown up. It was super easy. John just got to be down on the cell, give him 90% of the match, get 2 false comebacks until we go into the finish. However, I talk about this of A, B, C choices. The A and B choice weren't chosen. We chose a C, maybe even a D choice.
I was going to say that might be further down the line with the ending that we got.
Like, so who's responsible for that in a creative meeting? Because I want to break this down, not just with you, but Stevie and Russo, right? Like, what's our A choice? In my opinion, it's
John.
No, I disagree. No,
I'm going to buck that. I think that for Play to the Crowd, talking about that specialty show, John should have won this thing. And I know there's that old trope of going out, but I don't think that applies here in this situation.
It does. It absolutely does. Because not just for the wrestling mafia reason, but for John's finish on a symphony. You don't end on the symphony on the high point. You end on a resolve. And the resolve is the base of the mat, and you're down and you're out again. And that's the roller coaster coming to the end, right? Like that's what it is. So the A-level choice to me, and everyone's entitled to their own opinion. You are, if you think John going over is better than this, and that's fine.
I'll give you a reason afterwards why I think that way.
Okay. Here's why John not going over for all those reasons. Yes, you go out on your shield. Terminator gets dipped down into the fucking thing. I'll be back, whatever, right? But you feel for them as they go out. They don't just fucking retire and be like, and life was good. Like the hero dies. So that's a part of the story we need. John Cena's Americana, the Hulk Hogan of his generation, and he lives by codes. A man needs an honor code. Kids need a code of rules to live by. Hustle, loyalty, and respect is an American ideal for a lot of kids in the last 20 years. Sure, it made a lot of t-shirts, but Americans are hustlers. We got side hustles. We grind. We find any way to try and up our game. Loyalty, we all want friends in a crew that find the best of that we can claim as our tribe. And respect is something we all want and we should be giving other people. That's easy to teach little kids, and it's things that are the id of man. The other credo he lives by is never give up. When you tap out at the end, you just gave up. You could never give up and go out on your shield. And that is why it's the A choice. Him never giving up and going to sleep. Now, I've seen other, I don't know if it was Bubba Ray or what have you, liken it to another movie, but I liken it to Raging Bull. You never got me down, Ray. You never got me, knocked me down. And yeah, he got his ass kicked, but he never tapped out. Right? So I think it was Bubba Ray. What the fuck, man? This thing keeps going out. Likened it to when Obi-Wan Kenobi smiles before Darth Vader cuts him down, which isn't a bad idea, but to me, the id of never giving up is right there served up for you. You can go to sleep and just be choked out and have the ref drop your arm one time, not 3 times, and call it like a UFC thing, and you're out. Gunther wins. People boo while you're down and slept. They're waking you up. And then he can leave and you have your time in the ring. To tap out is to give up. To give up is to go against the id of what your character's credo is. That's why it is a fucking terrible choice. John Cena going over and leaving the house up and getting a win over Gunther. Gunther's already got the shine because he's in the match. I totally understand the reason why. That's absolutely 100% true. Leave him happy and your hero wins and saves the day and Superman flies away until the next villain comes. That's a possibility too, but it's not as good of a resolve because the hero going over isn't the goodbye, and we carry out Maximus's body after he just killed the Emperor, and all the soldiers carry him out because of respect, and he goes off to heaven and lives his life that way, or lives his death that way. Like, the true epics of the human existence is the end of the hero and the end of the journey, so we can find someone else to believe in. To have him tap out was a terrible idea. To have him go over is the B reason, because what I explained as never give up is the core of a philosophy in life. And that's what you're truly selling. The experience of the wrestling, the hero won, is good. It doesn't cut as deep to the experience of the audience as that does in the psychology of it. That's why it's an A choice, in my opinion.
I agree that finish we got was the worst choice. Absolute garbage. I love that how you laid everything out there. I would put that as my B choice. And here's why. And a key word in there, as you mentioned at the end, is audience. Now, I know there is this old trope in professional wrestling that you go out on your back. You do the favor, you put somebody over as you go. But that originated with when you're leaving a territory or a company. That's just not something I came up with. I learned that by listening to Jim Cornette. Guy knows a thing or two. So in a situation like this with John Cena, of the magnitude, the retirement of him, and people, that audience coming there to celebrate him, that one final time, they wanted that moment, that pop. Play to your audience, send them home happy. And not just in this case, but after what we've seen this entire year, going back to about a year ago, little less than a year ago, when John Cena made this announcement and made it sound like he wanted to come back full time to give everything he had one last time. You made that clear. He is the Hulk Hogan of his era. He is the top guy in all of professional wrestling. But one thing we've had a lot of other top guys, but John's different, that he's been polarizing, where it's, let's go Cena. Cena sucks. He could split that audience. They were for and against him, but he got that emotion. And now this one run, everybody coming together to celebrate that, almost a quarter century. We saw that. They wanted to be there. They wanted to cheer. They wanted this ride with him. And what do we get creatively? Where John says he wants to come back full time. We've heard him say he offered 220 dates. They said, now we got a price gouge. How about 36? We got to maximize this. So they're already cutting the fans short. Then they come out of nowhere with this wonky ass booking, this absolutely failed heel turn. Nobody wanted that. Nobody wanted that. So you took away months of this incredible journey, this experience from the fans. Then you turn him back absolutely out of nowhere. The most pathetic display of creative, and fans forgave it because they just wanted it to go away. They just wanted John Cena back. They just wanted to celebrate that. But you had, with the 36 dates, you had rushed booking for all of these matches. They were throwing everything, trying to get everything crammed in there. They were price gouging. If it was just the meet and greets, things that John wouldn't have been about himself. 650 Make-A-Wish things. He's there for the fans. He's there for those people. But now he's part of this new machine.
What is his finale tell all those little kids?
Okay, kick it. Give up.
Just say fuck it. Don't fight it, kids. Just Reaper's coming. Reaper's coming for you. Tap out.
So in this moment, I asked you last week, was there anything that they could do to salvage this terrible farewell tour? And you said no. They could have. They easily could have done that by giving them the one final moment to bring everybody together to cheer and celebrate damn near a quarter century of John Cena. And they blew that. They took that away. A moment that they could have rejoiced in and said goodbye to an era. And you say Gunther's already made. You're not going to hurt Gunther by taking a loss there, but you could have united all of these people here, and they pulled the complete rug out on it. It could have been a moment to salvage this entire just abysmal, devastating year on this final tour.
I respect your opinion absolutely on the way that lays out and what the feeling it invokes, and the reason why as cover for the D-level effort that we put into this from the jump, right? Like, less dates should make it easier to plan out instead of 220.
Right.
So like they all should have hit. And like, I would have loved that as a writing assignment to how do we take them on the twists and turns in the end, you know? So, but all that being said, none of you marks and your opinions matter as much as the fact that if you are in this shit, when I throw, just because I'm a Sopranos fan, this is a very weird mafia. It is a very weird fraternity. It is a very weird cult, whatever you want to call pro wrestlers. And John Cena is at the top of it.
Mm-hmm.
And even though people are like, that's an old territory trope that, you know, I'm not besmirching you, of like that when you leave, you go out on your back to show you do business. And yeah. And because when you lose, that means you have a reason to come back. I'm a world beater and I beat everybody in this territory and I leave, right? But it does mean more than that to go, it was an honor to perform and I am no bigger than anyone in this business. I'm only John Cena because of everybody who laid down to get me here. Yeah, I had to put in the work and the sacrifice, but it's an honor for the performer for me to lay down for Dick Justice in my last match. it's an honor for me to look up at the lights and have that feeling of completion. And it's not the 1, 2, 3 winning one more time wouldn't do that to me. It's the other way of, like I said, it's the last final resounding chord in the symphony of our life, of our performance. That's why John would want to lay down instead of go over if he was calling the shots, because he is a true mob boss and how this shit is. I haven't heard it, but somebody even said in an interview that he did in the last week, he puts over Rip Rogers for making him what he is.
Yep.
And
couple times, in a couple of the interviews, he ripping.
And if you're a fucking Rip Rogers guy, bro, you're as in this shit as anybody could ever be. Even when he was on Rogan, that was true Rip guy stuff. I have to really dial it back here. I try to on swearing, but if you're in with Rip, bro, Rip is worse than any sailor, and you just pick it up, and it's part of the weird backside of this mafia where John is not allowed to swear in the ring. He's not allowed to swear in front of little kids. But when you wore him down after 90 minutes, the real wrestler side came out of him, and he was fuck this, I fuck that. And, and it's just, that's what it, when people go, oh, he referenced Rip. If you're a true Rip guy, like so many of us are, you're a special breed in this fucking shit and how it runs your life, and you respect it and you do what is required of you. It doesn't matter how big you got on a scale. You know what's right thing to do in the tradition of wrestling. So I hate to say fuck the fans, but they said fuck the fans from day one on this.
I get that. And that's where they could have made this right. As we're having this conversation, I do want to stand up for the fans there, because we got from WWE, because even immediately afterwards, they send out The Miz, they send out CM Punk, Triple H goes out there. They're getting booed like crazy. Triple H was just getting showered with boos right there at the celebration.
Rightfully deserved.
So and what you're saying here is, it's the wrestling trope. It's our way. We know what's best. And again, this was a huge middle finger to those fans. Screw you. Which we shouldn't be surprised, because WWE right now is just coming out and saying it anyway. Screw you. Just give us your money.
I think John going to sleep is not a screw you. I think John going to sleep is the Terminator. I think it gives him he could have gotten up after you woke him up and said, never gave up. You guys never give up. You know what I mean? You got to keep that going. Like, if we need to show, don't tell. And if your whole thing's never give up and you just go to sleep, you lived it. You lived the Disney ending of what it is for your character. We know you're not dead, but the story of your unbelievable victories, that time caught up with you, that nobody beats Father Time, all those types of things, right? Or you just got caught by Gunther and you had the right hopes and keep alives. Like, all that would have been there if he just would have gone to sleep. It would have made a more resounding choice than let's have a big pop and bring everybody together to forget about the last 36 shows where they didn't do things the right way. Like, yeah, that's all right for Saturday Night Main Event, but I'm talking about a career, not 1 year Band-Aid on a broken leg. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I still, I'm comparing this last year and even Saturday Night's Main Event moment. To me, it's still Michael Jordan playing for the Wizards. There was some highlights, but we're not going to remember it. We remember Jordan from the Bulls. We remember that great run. No one remembers
Nobody knows number 45. They only like 23.
Yeah. Hey, I was actually, when he brought the 45 out, I was there. I just happened to have tickets, and that's when he came back.
How many of those games do you think he threw for Vegas? Everybody's a scumbag, bro. We all want to live this dream, and then the reality of who our fucking heroes truly are. Because I'll say this now. I'll put over the story as we're talking about the Cena thing, and everyone. Thank you, Cena. Thank you. And yeah, there's been plenty of guys who had great moments. Like, I'm super happy for Muhammad Hassan and what his life has become, but he stood face to face with him in the ring on SmackDown, big shit. And I know he's living a lot of those memories right now. So I'm happy for a lot of my brothers, but like, that Six Flags show. If I ever get to see John, that's what I'll say to him, because it's important to say things like this when you get the opportunity of thank you, even though we never got to work together. I know he went to Danny Davis on that July 4th show because he had a Humvee. He had 12 fucking Marines that brought him out. It's the biggest show I ever worked. Crowd was 3,700. It's because John was headliner 2008 that summer. And he saw us and goes, I want to bump that dude. And we just tried to no sell it but we've been in a 6-month program with Rob Conway and Pat Buck. And we had a flag match on 4th of July that we've been building to. And it's not up to me, especially as fucking 2 years in the business, to try and jump Rob Conway to put myself over to go, let's do the Cena thing and go ask Danny. But he asked Danny, and Danny shot it down because it's long-term business. See, that's what sticks to me. He tries to help, and things happen, and Danny's right, and he's running a territory. But even John Cena at his peak in 2008 gets told to shut the fuck up by Danny Davis, right? But I know he went to bat because he wanted to do that because he knew it would be a huge pop in Kentucky at Six Flags, bumping the terrorist 2008. And I just wanted to say that meant a lot to me, to that he would fucking try and include us, in that moment. So it never happened. I still had we had a great match. It was so awesome. Conway, we learned so much from. And I went off the top rope and they fucking double slammed me and crowd fucking went crazy. So it was a good time, man. Just to be on that show with John was as a headliner was fucking awesome.
You sharing that moment there during the live watch along. We had a special guest, the Hammer. Charles Alford was with us.
He was on that show.
If you're out there, go back and listen to the live watch along, because there are so many, just a masterclass of professional wrestling and bits of wisdom that Hammer shares with us. Even especially, like, if you could time it up when they were at commercial break, he started telling us about OVW. And as you were talking about then, once you're that Rip Rogers guy, that's your mindset. That's where you're at. And you can tell that's where Hammer's
There's no coming back, dude. It's going through. Rip Rogers is fucking Arlie Ermy from Full Metal Jacket. He breaks you and then rebuilds you into this fucking weird wrestling Terminator because he wanted to say fuck you to the office. He took some of the people who never should be's and gave them the best wrestling mind on the planets. You know what I mean? But it comes with like a weird sailor mentality of how you handle yourself. And Hammer is a man in that locker room amongst a lot of younger guys. Hammer had already been through the military and a sergeant, and fucking, like, you respect him right out of the gate. And he was, have a beer with any of the boys. He wasn't above anybody, but like, he was the feature. Whether it was Oxenhammer as like kind of the new APA and like, kind of like a Legion of Doom in a way too. Like, they were bad as fuck, bro. And they were ready for TV. And then the stuff he did with ODB showed that you could do stuff with men and women that didn't have to be a couples thing or a sexual thing, or it was an odd couple and a mismatch, but they both, were like alphas. It was very cool. So, and he just wasn't going to be the standard shucking and jiving black guy. You know what I mean? He was to be the fuck respected. And he still is. So it was good having him anywhere around the locker room because everybody fucking flew right. He would get pissed when little things would go wrong because he takes his performance seriously, dude, and when that dude's fucking unwrapping his hands and is pissed backstage, what the fuck happened out there? Like, not that I was in the ring with him maybe once or twice on a house show, because he was a made guy and I'm green as grass. So A+, and then to have him in the locker room or even in the chat now, my opinion's less. I lay out like, I've done plenty and whatnot, maybe more than some of those OVW guys did. in my later years, but I still look at those guys as the big brothers and I shut the fuck up. I respect what they say more than what my opinion is, because I hold them in high esteem of what they've accomplished. Guys like him, guys like Aaron Stevens, guys like Mike Mondo, you know what I mean? Nemeth, all those. I can go on and on. The women too, Beth Phoenix, ODB, Serena, all of them. So that's just our weird Rip Rogers cult that we all came up together under.
Yeah, he shares some great stories, talking about all the different trainers from Cornette to Heyman to Storm, the different styles at OVW, debuting at WrestleMania. He talks about that new APA, the stuff with ODB. And it's just the way he broke down the matches. I mean, there's so many things that just stuck with me. Believe me, all of us producers, we got our minds working for something with Hammer, man. What a great just part of the Army and all the things that he shares with us, man. So that greatly appreciated that. But back to, on the match itself, let's talk. That was on the 13th. We're 2 days away. We got our first Raw. Gunther getting atomic heat. Yeah, but Jimmy said something over there in the chat. I think that it is very, very true. The frustrations from the fans just maybe wasn't necessarily about the outcome. It was the year-long build, everything building up and boiling over, and then just that explosion.
Well, that's what the Triple H heat was. It wasn't on that finish. That was heat of like, this should have been John's final year. What the fuck is wrong with you?
Now, some of that geared at Gunther. How do you handle Gunther's booking here to keep that momentum?
Oh, absolutely. Gunther should be bragging for the next 3 weeks until everyone forgets about John. And then fucking, and I would actually make that my catchphrase. Forget about John Cena. Because every time you say it, it's going to get a Cena chant, right? Like, and you stay over with it. So you got to come up with something smart to get the opposite effect, the inverse. So good for Gunther. If I would, in a short term here, do you have him just go out there and annihilate R-Truth or something like that? Yeah, absolutely. R-Truth is a perfect guy to be the next dude to do that. And then maybe Miz too. And you just keep having him finish Cena's business. And then when Jericho comes back, I would run something with them. You know what I mean? You got to get him, and if Edge comes back too. Like, that's like, if you're really going to make Gunther, who else are you going to make off those guys? Maybe LA Knight, but the Jey Uso time is over with. He's back in the tag division. He's drunk on camera.
Wasn't a good look for him.
It's a lot of pressure, bro. It's a lot of pressure, this shit. And that's why, especially when you're a baby face.
Was that a setup and rib for him during Saturday Night's Main Event? Did someone say, hey, man, go out there and get on camera right now?
Hey, and not forget about the fact that he's on camera, the fact that he's fucked up and he's out there with the fans.
Right.
Like, this, like, you want to go, this ain't an indie show where, Raja Jackson beats the fuck out of somebody, but your family ran that one too, and you obviously think it's fine at WWE main event level that you're fucked up on Wheatley vodka, that you were out on Cody's bus, and now let's go back out and babyface and with the fans because it's one of those nights, Oh, here the Hammer's here too. Right
we just spent 10 minutes putting you over. Put you over.
What up, Hammer? Go back.
Did someone say my name?
Yeah. Get up. Let me sit in that chair. Yeah, that's a bad look, dude. And the pressure got to him, and I don't know. I was going to say this about John afterwards, bro. So, yeah, that's right. Say his name. Say Hammer's name. He appears like Joe Hendry. The bowing afterwards and all that shit, dude, did you see all that? Was that televised or not?
Yeah. I stayed in through the entire thing. I watched the post show, all of that. I just went to see how they were going to take this thing and try to spin that finish there.
Yeah, that to me is egregious babyface shit. I don't know. After you just laid down One bow is fine. I don't need a 4
The only thing that
quarters.
killed me is he should have left the jorts in the ring. Just
Yeah,
dropped his
dropped his
jean shorts.
pants.
He's already done that over at the award show where he had to leave in
I
his.
thought it was a big mistake to not wear the old school Reebok pumps and pump up on the top rope with the old pumps.
He's an old guy. He's got to wear those Skechers now with the
we got corrective soles.
the foam fitting. You know,
he's got his New Balances.
Yeah.
I'm with it, buddy. I'm with it. I'll be wrestling in Hey Dudes. Yeah, dude. There was some of the symbolism there, but the other part of it of like take the egregious bows, and then I go stoically through the crowd by myself while I leave everyone behind. Or Triple H having to come up and like give him a hug while he's getting his booze and then laugh and put over. Just the fact that Game is coming up to be like, let me put you over, and then go, and we made this for you. Like I was up all night in the editing bay getting this done. Like, just to step in that spotlight is a weird mafia move, bro. Like he knows what he's doing. Like it's supposed to come off as like, and the boss put him over and they made this goodbye, John. And then John's got to sit there and watch yet another highlight reel of himself and act forlorn. And this is the end of the era with the tear coming down. Like that's when it gets like where I go, ugh. Baby faces. Just get the fuck out of the ring and go to the back with your heat. That's what's nice about being a heel. Not all this fucking Barry Horowitzing and the spotlight and the moment and the photo together. And even Steph earlier on in the show trying to get the bullshit over. I thought Steph did a good job in the interim, but like, no, you've got to go you right, like all these cringy things that they just live in this bubble of like, and we're over because we said this in 1997 and wore leather. Like, yeah, it's all so. I'm glad to be done with it. You know what I mean? And I'm glad that guys from my era who are the leaders are hanging up their boots because I've done the same, and it's just you're going to see it with Brock, you're going to see it with Jericho, see it with Edge, and then they'll all sell out and come back and do a big match in Saudi, and they'll be all in the Elimination Chamber.
Do you believe, John? You were talking about the PR run that he did, and he's been pretty adamant. This is it for him. He did sign a 5-year ambassador deal, Legends deal, whatever that case might be, but he says he's done bell to bell, and he wants to kind of break that chain that we regularly see where you never retire. Do you believe him in that? Is he ready to? Well, we talked about it last week that he almost seems like even that smile was like, I'm out of here. I'm going to the next thing. I'm done with this. Do you trust him?
Would you back The Rock and John Cena for president?
A lot of people probably would.
President, vice president. Would the world fuck with America ever if you had The Rock and John Cena president? Who do you book as the president? That's the problem.
Yeah, which one goes over on that?
Right. Yeah, man. 5 years ambassadorship means give me a Saudi payday, and when you need me to be in the booth at WrestleMania, I'll be there, and yada yada. But I'm sure he's got 3 movie projects ready to go. I'll say this too about what I didn't like about the babyface shit with the tap out. The fact that he did like the grin thing. Like
the face pops me though. I just laugh every time I see it.
I know, but that I thought was disrespectful. I thought that like John can do what he wants, so he doesn't give a fuck what I think. I just thought like now you're going from trying to make a believable sell to like, here's my moment where I grin at the camera and say goodbye to everybody and and good night, everybody. And then the tap seemed like phony, not like I'm really being choked. I thought that was a bad move on his part. And I think he'll look back at that and regret that he did that. I'm not saying he's an asshole because he did it, but like,
right.
We make choices and what we think is going to work, that didn't work. That's another reason why going to sleep, would have been the only real true cutting decision where everybody got over. The character ends the right way, and Gunther goes over, and everyone lives their id. Because Gunther can go on and say, I put John Cena to sleep. I put him down. That's true. So he still gets bragging rights. The tap out thing was very wrong.
Let's talk about the undercard a little bit as well. I mean, we got some great knowledge tidbits there. Just a learning experience again from Hammer. There's so much that I took just from that undercard. But Ben, you were talking about with MSG and Pierce on the Friday locker room, and you'd mentioned them early with bikes, and about how at 2CW you guys took a lot of pride in doing it right about getting young talent over. And for this undercard, for Obafemi, for Sol Ruka, for the young high flyers, Evans and Slater, right, from TNA.
Yeah.
For them, what does this experience mean for their careers to get this kind of exposure? And did you appreciate how they were used on the show?
Yeah, great question. I like that. After the story I told you earlier about John wanting to work with us, even though we didn't get a chance to, I can totally believe that they wanted to highlight everybody they could from developmental. So Obafemi has a fuck ton of money written on him, which terrifies me because they couldn't get Omos over. So what are we doing with this guy? And they're going, he's 3 years into the business. I go, holy shit.
Only 3 years in.
It's crazy. Crazy. And it's a testament to Cody that he can work with anybody. But I thought Obafemi is super athletic. His timing's good, especially for a guy that's so physically impressive, understands how to find the camera, what the facial expression is. The walk down to the ring is goofy. However, if you commit to the bit and you wanted to make him a big baby face, I could see you starting an Instagram campaign and having all like little cute kids. You know what I mean? Like everyone starts doing it and like really put your money behind it and getting it going. Because right now it seems like something that would have been done in practice as a funny, let me pop the boys. And then they're like, you should do that on the way to the ring. And it becomes your thing. Well, if it is, then you better, how do I really rib them back by making this the Oba, because otherwise it's goofy to watch them doing that.
But it's a great crowd interaction, which they like. They like the pop, that visual. I mean, it could be on a level of a Yeet to have a whole arena's, kind of, it could the be. Ruler, man. People love to get behind that.
You gotta get it over, not just in his thing, though. You know what I mean? Like, it's got to become like a dad thing or a celebration NFL thing and all that stuff. Like to get it over. So the tribal fur around there feels a little bit like he's black and African, don't you know? Like maybe it's something to truly do with his culture, so I don't want to diss it. Otherwise, if it's just a show thing, you don't need it, bro. Nobody looks like you.
As long as it's there for like a respect and a meaningful.
Right. The fur, the fur, you don't need it. You got fucking gigantic everything.
Boots with the furs.
Yeah, exactly. So, but there's a thing. I knew watching SmackDown exactly what was going to happen. We have business with Drew and Cody. Then we do a face off with Cody and Obafemi on SmackDown. You're getting a no finish.
Right. So it's a smart choice, right, on this?
Sure, but I just like set it up. You know what's gonna happen. Oh, they're gonna wrestle for 14 minutes until Drew runs in. I did like the Drew Oba interaction. You know what I mean? Like,
if you're gonna make a big guy, I'm excited for that. See those two hook up on a Road to WrestleMania program. Yeah. Well, if you're gonna introduce a guy, make sure he's got the right leadership, the general with him. No pun intended. Drew's the guy.
I don't disagree, but are they just gonna send Obafemi back to NXT and have Drew show up there once and then that's it? That's what I'm saying.
You got to do a Road to WrestleMania with this.
Oh, you gotta. You don't got to do shit. They don't do fuck all. They didn't care about John Cena's turn. You think they're going to care about, we got to get Obafemi over the right way.
Yeah.
I just be like,
that's
keep doing the dance.
That's the disheartening the part with it. But
Right.
you know, a few things that again, just to echo what Hammer shared with us, and he knows a big man how to get him over. And you know, he was like, man, he's like, give me, you know, Hammer was saying, give me Obafemi for 6 months. Let me coach him. We'll get him there. But you know, one of the things that he said, that one of the talking points that really hammered home to me, the longer the match for a big man, the longer the match, the smaller the giant. It gets exposed in it. And in this match, you had 5+ kickouts, which hurts Obafemi.
Right. Dude, that's what I was gonna say. Like they want to test, like, oh, he can get in there with Cody and look like a threat. But a guy that size, the longer he goes, the less he looks like a threat, because he should be kicking the shit out of him. He should be taking 90% of the match, and the match should be quick, 5 to 6 minutes, quick comeback. And then, you know, from there, Cody, he can slip on a banana peel and Cody goes over on him, hits his cutter thing and gets him out of nowhere.
Or you have the Drew run in or what. Don't go the full 14 on it.
Yeah, like have Cody hit the cutter and then have Drew pull Cody's legs out and light him up on the outside, right? So it looks like he had him. Everything's there. You shined Oba. Everybody's over. But, like, the fact that they go, oh, can he pull 16 minutes? He shouldn't be. A guy like that you want him to get over in his entrance with his fucking Studley dance or whatever it is, should be going over and walking through guys. He looks like Ryback. Right? You don't want Ryback out there doing a Bret Hart technical match. Like, believe me. So, yeah, dude, that is a bad choice. And then now does he have heat? I don't know what bloodied Cody's ear, but you know, Cody's probably already pissed about that from the Travis Scott shit. Then they put him in with this kid, and you can get hurt in anything. Maybe it was just cauliflower ear that busted. I don't know.
I think it just busted open. It was kind of weird.
Or maybe he fucking really stiffed him, and now Cody's got to go back and go, how was he? Well, how the fuck you think he was? And now you're buried, right? Like, and if you're only in for 3 years, he's still in his phase where everything is gimmick this and Snabit's that and good brother this and bad brother that in their little bubble. He's not a 8 to 10 year political throat cutter. That's the problem. When they're going, this guy's only 3 years in, I go, holy fuck, he's so good. But that's a problem, because anybody that sees him as a threat to taking their spot, who's been on the roster for 10 years, will know how to wind this guy up to fucking make him cut his own throat. You know, like, if he doesn't have a guardian angel watching out for him, he might never make it, bro. Like, he'll be Apollo Crews doing that instead of, who's the fucking fighter from MMA that's Nigerian, fucking big bastard.
Street Fighter guy? Whoa!
He's fucking
limbs stretch out. I don't know.
No, like he fought. He left to go fucking box as well. But dude, that guy was bad. Francis Ngannou. Thank you, Artist Returns. Like, you bring in Francis Ngannou to get him over and get the shine and do. If you're really gonna do Nigeria, don't do I chase lions in the veldt. You know, like what fucking.
It was Apollo Crews.
yeah. Like, let's do like, hey, he's a real fucking threat, a real fighter. We train together, show him boxing together, all that kind of shit. And then he's made as like, this is the WWE version of a UFC champion.
With the other two undercard matches, what do you think of Soul and Bailey?
Again, went too long. I know I went away for like 5 minutes, came back. The match was still going. I thought they would have taken it home. Sol Ruca, definitely super talented. And the whole time, all I could think of was like, I don't want to see her in wrestling. I wish Quentin Tarantino would have found her before she got all those stupid tattoos on her arm, and that they would have done an HBO Kill Bill series where she now plays Beatrice Kiddo, because she looks like a perfect version of fucking the character that you could go back in time and do like whatever you wanted to, the early 90s prequel of the Viper Assassination Squad, and fucking have like 2 to 3 seasons of what that looked like. You know,
I mean, she came from the gymnast background. That's what she was.
That's
in college.
what she said, stunts and gymnast shit. And now she's in the wrestling mafia. And for her to break out, it won't matter. She'll have the wrestler stamp on her. Where if she could have been on Quentin Tarantino's weirdo casting couch, fucking who knows what we could have gotten, because that's all I thought about that whole match was like, fuck, I wish she was in Hollywood doing a Kill Bill series.
Well, you know, she's got that look about her. Even the name. So, I mean, it stands out. The Soul Snatcher, that move, that was the shot there. That's going to wow people. You saw how athletic she is.
I think that's a stupid move.
But it's a cool visual for a pop for what they show. You know, when they want those highlights. It
makes wrestling phony as fuck, bro. How many times you been in a street fight, seen somebody fucking flip backwards off a wall and snap stun or somebody?
I don't know how you do it upstate New York, dude. We break out the gymnast moves all the time here in Cincinnati, baby. That's how we throw it out here. That's how we do it in the tri-state. Tri-state trampoline fighting. That's what we do now.
See, I see that shit, and then I watch what Gunther did, and I go, that's how easy it is. Chop a guy down, clothesline him down, walk around, get the response, don't get blown up, go pick him up, give him one slam. Oh, his back fucking hurts. You're goddamn right it hurts. Stay on the cell. Go over, stomp on his hand. Stay on the cell. I'm eating this match up because your comeback. And then, yeah, I'm supposed to be boring. I'm not supposed to be doing shit. So your comeback means something. But in this match, everyone's got to dive, hit this flip, do that. And then here come the fucking guys to do it. And you got Rob Van Dam in the audience, and guys are fucking doing frog splashes. You know what I mean? Like, they probably don't even know who the fuck Rob Van Dam is. That's the truth of the matter. That those guys are that young. They might not even know that RVD does the frog splash. And they didn't even put that over. Like, I would have cut right to Rob after he hit one, and Rob had like,
did like the split seat, like in his reaction with it.
Yeah.
I mean, those are the things you're missing. That inside of itself, not just the rub of being in there with an AJ Styles. That's if you can get a pop of reaction out of Van Dam for a frog splash, that's what connects.
That's
you to
what
the
he's
audience.
there for, right? You're putting him over. You're putting over history. You know what's coming. And as a producer, I would know, like, all right, they're doing a frog splash here. Give me a shot of Van Dam. Let smarten Rob up that they're going to do one, you know, and hopefully Rob puts it over. But like, then I'm watching these guys, and it's no, you know, shot on these young dudes. They're super talented, but they're going 90 miles an hour, and nothing means nothing. And whatever's new era of wrestling, da da da. But then I go, you know what? Neither of these guys are as good as Montez Ford at this shit. And how are we supposed to get them over? Because you know what? Trick Williams and fucking who's the other guy? Carmelo Hayes do the same shit, and they're already not over and out the door. Now we're supposed to care about these two high-flying black guys. Guess what? New Day's still on the roster. Like, not to say we can't have multiple African Americans on our roster, but if they all do the same fucking hold my beer, watch me do crazy flips that don't mean shit, then what does any of it mean? Nothing.
Got to stand out somewhere there.
Montez Ford has more money written on him than all those other guys I mentioned. Like I said, it's not a slight on them. It's just when you see money and who comes through the camera, Montez Ford over Trick Williams, Carmelo Hayes, these two guys. Over, maybe even over New Day, to be honest with you. New Day just are A-plus season performers who go out and have fun, you know. Montez Ford hasn't even begun to really get his solo shot of the money that's truly written on him. Fucking millions of dollars. And I'm not trying to say his partner sucks, because they tried to do that move, and that guy stepped his game up big time too. Right? Yeah, but why wouldn't you want to get the most out of somebody you put a great investment in, whose body still has some punches on the bump card to truly get over? Give him the I'm hungry and I'm tired of being fucking denied spot and going in for his own thing, you know?
At the end of the night, for better or worse, Ben, I really felt it was kind of weird how I felt about this. You know, it was the end of an era, and it reminded me of when the Attitude Era ended personally. And in the sense of, I kind of feel like I can disconnect now. I can let go from WWE. Like, it's okay to step back and not care about this product for whatever reason. I don't know why. It was like
I don't care about you.
I know. It's been that way for a while. You know, so if this is the end of an era, what is the new era that we're going into? A Big Pop, shout out to over on Stevie's channel. I don't know who came up with it, but it did pop me. But he has a video up there just within the last couple hours where he is dubbing it the Attitude Era with all the advertising that they're selling out to on that. But basically, yeah, as you said here, Ben, it is we're going to be very blunt with you. We don't care about you, but just give us your effing money era.
And I've got blunts from Dank at Ravens Joint right now as I wear all the brands.
Dank.
Well, yeah. Stanky Dank. Yeah, man. I watched that great video. Everything Stevie is putting out over there is absolutely top tier in the wrestling punditry of YouTube. So love seeing it every day, man. I look forward to that little escape, whether I'm just got my earbuds in at the gym or if I'm on the drive to the joint. I always got that stuff in with him and James. Awesome. And why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you sell all of that ad space? That's what the vehicle is for.
That's what our background's from. You know, where can we put a?
But here we are as old school fans who want to be part of that mafia, and now they've been besmirched by the corporate machine as opposed to the carnies that ran this shit since carnival days. And the corporate mafia don't play like that. They see max value. They see partnership. They see synergy inside the flywheel of brands that they already represent, that are already on board or want to be on board with TKO. Maybe they can't get into UFC. Maybe the price point's easier for WWE, or maybe it's an all-in-one package that you're selling to another corporate entity that represents multiple brands. Let me put it out to you this way. Dank is a top seller in my store. Dank is a big brand that people know. And that brand that represents them owns 15 other brands. Now, people don't know that the same brand that owns Dank owns 15 other brands. And then when that I'm not going to say their name because that could be not smart, comes into your store, if you don't know shit about weed or business, they go, dude, I can stock your whole store. I've got 15 brands. The consumer doesn't know that one company owns all that. But as a business owner, you can get into a lot of trouble quick in the fact that when that bill comes due 30 days later, you owe all that to that one company, not just what maybe only Dank sold and the other, 14 brands didn't. You're still on the hook for that. Now you got a problem, right? But conglomerates work like that of like, not only do I sell you the ad space for that, but what you think are individual brands are also underneath a bigger conglomerate. So it's the illusion that Slim Jim, Wheatley Vodka, and now I'm not saying I know this for a fact because I haven't looked at their origin source of who the overarching parent company is, but it's the same as Coca-Cola owning everything that's in your, local corner store. And you think that the Gatorade is separate. You think the Monster is that. It's all Coca-Cola distribution.
PepsiCo or Coca-Cola. They got the entire beverage market.
But you think like, oh, but I like this, poisoned. I go, okay. So that is going on at a very high level at the expense of the fans. Now the fans are at the mercy of the wrestling mafia doing what they want to do on their way out, and the corporate mob shilling them for every last coin in their pocket, making you go to subscription services that they also own a piece of, making you buy the highest priced tickets and giving you the least amount of product, shrinkflation. these are corporate structures, and the fan at home is still locked into Hogan slamming Andre. It's two different, completely different worlds, and the fans are going to lose on both ends. To the boys that are still in the Carney Mafia and the corporate masters who don't give a shit about the creative.
The super agents, the sharks at the very top. That's where, well, I'm more interested now in following what TKO does, and I feel like I can just disconnect from the product, from the creative, because I don't know if there's anything left for me in it. Hammer making a comparison to WCW there. They're coming out right now. It's just like in any society, any market, when you're very blunt and telling people about the expenditures, we don't care about you here, just give us your money. Eventually you're gonna burst the bubble. You're gonna have stock market crash, and it's probably coming sooner or later for WWE.
Yeah, but that also breeds an underground. That also breeds the opportunity to find a new tribe and raise it up to a new level. With all that, that's what capitalism in America is. In the takeover of the mom and pop era of the 80s and the 90s, before corporate big box stores. And it doesn't matter what the industry is. The nature of capitalism is to conglomerate and to, by the end, really have usually 3, sometimes 5 overarching players in the game that own everything. Even if the brand is individual, the parent company will be one of 3 or one of 5, and that's automotive industry, health industry, tobacco industry, booze industry, food distribution. Like, that's how it is, from Walmart to P&G Group to yada yada. And when that happens, the underground starts over again, because they have to break up those monopolies, or people get too tired of being fed things that aren't original thought and organic. So it's not the worst thing that you're tired of the shit product that's being dealt out. Now it's about making something new, and hopefully there's artists out there that want to do that.
Well, AEW is trying that, but the new wave of wrestling, dick biting, that's what we get over there.
Yeah. Well, somebody's got to do it, I guess.
Did you ever do that with you and Justice feeding? Did you ever bite dick?
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, yes. So I bit him in the forehead many times.
Okay.
But we did the drop toe hold spot. We're in the corner and fucking head goes in the crotch. You know what I mean? So I get slung in the corner. I hit, fall down, in comes Dewey. Dick Justice drop toe hold. Dewey goes into my crotch. And fucking looks like he's giving me a blowjob. Yeah, good stuff.
Very nice. Very nice.
People love that shit. But we gave you guys plenty today. Hammer, go back and listen so I can earn some big brother points. After putting you over 100% genuine. Always love having any veteran and good brother from OVW in the locker room chat, you guys. And thank you for treating it with respect as always. I look forward to being on with Russo and Stevie tomorrow to talk more about my opinions on the John Cena finish, and then in 3 weeks we can forget about him fully. So that'll be a good time for everybody. But chat room was hot today, you guys. Everyone's still passionate about wrestling. I think mainly we're just sad to see the end of our era, of our childhood, as John moves on from what we known and love him for, and all the bumps that he took and all the moments that he made for kids we'll never know about, you know what I mean? And what is the measure of a man? So there's plenty of, dark side of the ring stories, I'm sure, with wrestling politics, but does any of that stack up when you're talking about a guy who's put in that level of work without ever asking to have any light shine upon it? That's the true measure of a human being, not doing it for the clicks or doing it for any of that stuff, but doing it for the true, genuine human nature, for someone far less fortunate that needs a hero. And I think that's the toughest thing for all of us to kind of settle with, because we want to live vicariously through instead of being that ourselves. It's a little easier, right? But maybe challenge ourselves today to be that and live that, even if it's in a smaller way, So y'all.
Real quick before we get out of here, I know everybody's been sharing their thoughts, their opinions on this one. There is one out there that's going to be on our platform that I am wholeheartedly, man, I am so eager to hear. Waiting for tomorrow morning. I Like It Raw. Big Ray's been waiting to share his thoughts, and I think it's going to be very unique inside of this. Big Ray, whose dad was in the business, Big Ray, who got to work with Mr. Apter as a mentor, learned so much there. But most importantly here, Big Ray, who said, hey, he grew up on the Hogan. The vitamins, the prayers, respect your parents, all that. But he got to see his son, Aiden, and he passed on that love of professional wrestling to him. And Aiden came up. His hero was John Cena.
Yeah, sure.
And I think it's going to be very cool to see that perspective through Ray's eyes and what it meant to his family and to share that bond with his son and love for professional wrestling and what this farewell meant. So tomorrow, 10 a.m. Eastern, I Like It Raw. The chat today was awesome. Thank you guys so much. But tune in tomorrow morning to hear that unique perspective from Big Ray. Man, that's going to be one of my favorite takes, I think, about this whole thing, to see that perspective and what that meant to their father-son dynamic and their love for professional wrestling.
Yeah, maybe I'll run in like Triple H during the middle of the show in between Master Shoot Theater and Raw and SmackDown and see what's up.
We got to start that on these shows. Start running your executive producer stuff here at the end of the episodes each.
Yeah, right. Exactly. But y'all, on behalf of Lee Fitting and Paul Levesque, I'm Hacker Hameen, the masked man on a mission. And big salute to John Cena, man, OVW, good brother, Rip Rogers guy, and arguably the best who ever did it here on the Monday Locker Room. Y'all.
Ding dong. Hello?